Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're going to be talking about some huge news that was announced very early this morning for me. Wizards of the Coast is actually delaying the Monster Hunter Secret Lair Superdrop. We're going to be going over basically what the Superdrop was and everything. I'll show you the cards that were going to be coming out. I got to talk about why it was delayed, what was the issues with it, and why I do think this is good. And I'll talk about some changes that I hope we see before the new one comes out. Before we do get into that, make sure you guys subscribe. This is your best place for up-to-date Magic the Gathering news. We've got that instant speed news coming to you straight away, and we're trying to hit 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're going to be doing a huge giveaway when we do reach that, whether it's the end of the year or not. I'll probably do it anyway, just because I love you guys. And we also are going to be having a Christmas sale on right now over on our Ko-fi. If you guys want to get a custom deck list, a deck review video, all that kind of stuff, go on over to that. I'll put the link down below to that as well. Just help support the channel as well as get yourself, a custom deck or whatever. So let's go through it. What was this Secret Lair, first of all? It was a group of Secret Lairs, a super drop. So, there was like 4 different Secret Lairs all coming out at the same time. You can get bundles for them, etc. And it was meant to be launching December the 1st, literally next week. Now, keep in mind that because of the fact that Wizards don't do print to demand anymore, these were already printed, right? Because they were meant to be sent out like later next week, basically, because they send them out not long after the Secret Lair comes out and people purchase them. There was 4 different ones, all themed around Monster Hunter, and they were featuring creatures and hunters from the series as reprinted cards. So you can see here, these ones were The Hunt, as they called them. Just showing you a whole bunch of different cards that, you've got like some kind of staple-ish kind of stuff like Blind Obedience and stuff, Snap. There is barely any value in these, right? Like, I don't think any of these exceed like $2 potentially. Blind Obedience maybe is up there a little bit higher, but the rest are relatively quite cheap. We've got the Hunters. This one here did have some cards that were a little bit worthwhile with the Grand Abolisher and with the Imperial Recruiter here. I'll talk about this Champion of Lambholt as well. It's interesting, but it is the first reprint of Champion of Lambholt with different art in it. Again, there's a couple bit things in here that are a little bit worth it, but overall not insanely great value. We've got the monsters here with a few different, monsters reprinted with the Secret Lair, what do they call it? The Godzilla treatment, I think they call it, where it's got the character name and then what the card is that's reprinted here. So you got like Zyatora, Jakusev, Nezahul, Seraph, and Vivictus there. And then we've got the Monsters 2 here with Razaketh, Kalamex, Wasitora, and Amareth. So, yeah, basically those were the Secret Lairs. I think that the fact that, I can't say that there was any that was super valuable within these two is kind of speaking volumes. There was not a huge amount of really any reprint value, but I'll go into the feedback. First, before we do that, though, this one here, the Champion of Kotoko is actually also misspelt, right? Like, this is a card that was going to be coming out next week, and it was misspelt when they showed it. Now, I don't know if that means that the printed ones were misspelt as well, but either way, they actually misspelt the name of the village from the first. Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing, that's for sure. And we talked about this a lot. I don't think I've actually covered the typo on here, but either way. So the feedback here. The primary feedback here was just the cards that were chosen were already relatively cheap, and while some were useful, they're not like huge, powerful staples or, interesting cards, right? They're mostly just very bland cards. Even the ones that were, more expensive, like the Grand Abolisher and the Imperial Recruiter, are still rather bland cards. There's also no equipments reprinted in here. In Monster Hunter, the equipments, the armor, all that is huge, right? Like, that is weapons and stuff like that. That's like the whole point of the game, is hunting these monsters and creating better armor and better weapons, etc. But there was no equipment in here, which is just, it was a choice. Even like looking at the legendaries, some of them feel either a bit forced or just like there may have been better options. Like the Dragon getting reprinted here. I think people are saying like the number one thing that they would have liked to have seen is Rathalos, I think it was, as the Dragon there. Or Fatalis, either one of those two as like the Dragon. Like, these big reprints that would have been amazing to see here. Unfortunately, there was just like nothing worthwhile about that. So it just ended up feeling just a little bit kind of disappointing in that regard. And don't get me wrong, like, secret layers don't have to be all about the value and how much you're getting from value or anything like that in regards to what you're getting, but you still want them to be cards that are actually going to be usable, or, cards that you are excited about. But there wasn't really anything like that here. So this is the actual announcement they gave out here. Back to the drawing board with Secret Lair X Monster Hunter. So let's cut to the chase. The Super Drop was revealed last week, fell short of expectations. We hear loud and clear that you're disappointed, and we believe we can do better. So we're going to postpone this release and rework this Super Drop entirely. That's one thing to note here as well. They say it's reworking it entirely. I assume they'll probably still keep the art that they've got here, or at least reuse some of the art that was here. But either way, yeah. Like many of you, we're big fans of Monster Hunter. It's why we put this Super Drop together. But in our excitement, we missed the mark on elements like card selection and faithfully integrating the world and mechanics of Monster Hunter. As a result, the overall construction of this Super Drop is not up to the standard you come to expect. Pulling Super Drops back isn't something we're going to do very often, but we're committed to doing better. Capcom is on board with us taking another swing at the Super Drop as well. So we're going to pull this one back, and we'll share details and an updated release date in a few months. A few months, that's a pretty big delay. We've had so many secret layers in a row as well at the moment that I'm kind of glad this one's pushed back a little bit too. It's good to see that hopefully this means that we will get a higher quality of Super Drop secret layers going forward. So one complaint I did hear as well that I didn't talk about just before was mechanically unique cards. People would complain that there was no mechanically unique cards here, and I think that's a very interesting complaint, given that there is almost just as many people complaining about mechanically unique secret layers or mechanically unique universes beyond overall. I think it comes down to how much do you like this franchise, right? If it's a franchise that you love, then I think that you're more likely to be okay with / excited for mechanically unique cards, while if it's something you're not a huge fan of, or you barely know it, then you'd rather it just be reprints of cards. So I do think that, this is a very interesting thing, and it'll be interesting to see if they do mechanically unique cards here. But even then, I think better reprints as well is good too. So I think that, it's important to talk about why also this is important. There's two different possibilities here. One was Wizards of the Coast themselves heard the feedback and they're implementing the changes because people were unhappy or disappointed. Or the other side of it is Capcom heard the feedback and they're like, what the hell, man? We let you guys use our franchise and this is what you've done, and people are just, whinging about it. Complaining about it kind of thing. I think either one of those is still good, right? Either way, the kind of feedback was heard of people just being like, what the hell? So there's hopefully a few different things that this can affect in the future, because this is going to cost Wizards money, because these cards would be printed already, right? We're not in print to demand anymore for Secret Lair and stuff like that. It's, limited stock. So they would have printed them already, had them almost ready to be sent out. Because, this, again, this was next week, this is coming out. So hopefully this is actually hitting their pocket to the point that they may be less likely to, I say less likely to do these mistakes in the future, but even when less likely to put so much carelessness into it in the future. More care, double down on the flavor of it, which is the big one, making sure that it fits the flavor of the world, fits the cards and stuff like that. Just kind of, make it something that people want to buy more often. The changes I'd like to see is definitely switching to an equipment based secret lair, just have an equipment based secret lair, right? This is Monster Hunter. Equipment and whether it's gear or armor or weapons is just hugely important in that, and to not have that there. Tarion Soulcleaver. Tarion Soulcleaver, I think, is an amazing card that would have been great to see a reprint here, because you're kind of benefiting off things dying and kind of getting more power from things dying and stuff like that. That's my thoughts, at least. And also changing some of the reprinted creatures to fit just more into the world of Monster Hunter, and also have more sought after reprints, like the Dragon and stuff like that. Those big dragons that people love to use as their commanders and would love to see it, their very big and scary apocalypse dragons be represented in the game. But let me know what you guys think. Are you happy this is delayed or a little bit disappointed or not? Hope you guys had a great day and goodbye.